Hi Pre-Calc, this is Miss Jensen, and we are going to talk about writing equations of hyperbolas. So just kind of a reminder, these are some things we need to know. So this transverse axis, that's always what connects the vertices. So notice on the first one, it's going right left. On the second one, the transverse axis is going up, down. The conjugate is the one that's perpendicular to that. So it does not connect vertices, it just connects those 2 points that help make that triangle. Asymptotes go through the corners of the triangle, and then the foci are always on the inside. And so if the vertices are going right, left, that's added onto the x's. The foci have to be going right, left, and added to the x's. If the transverse axis, which is connected to the vertices, is up, down, the foci are always up, down, which means they're added and subtracted to the y's. The other thing just to pay attention to is that A is always the one that goes first. See, A is always the one that's connected to the vertices. So when we write out the equation, A squared in this case is always for sure first. So sometimes what goes here is an X, sometimes it's a Y. All right, in this case, the X goes first. In this case, the Y goes first. All right, so we're going to try some problems here. Here it says, write the equation of the hyperbola with a center, -2, -4. So this is the center. And a focus, just one focus point that's 2, -3. And finally, the A, which has to be the first term, is a 3. So I'm going to sketch this. It doesn't say I have to sketch it, but I want to sketch it to help myself out. That's always a good thing. -2, -4, that is the center. Okay, so right now I haven't decided if X is first or Y is first, but it's going to help if I plot the focus point that they gave me. The focus point is right 2, down 4. So if this is the focus point, if I were to do a sketch, remember this is the center, the parabolas have to be kind of going like that because the foci are inside the curve. So it has to be going right, left there, which means that X is first. Means that X is first, and that means that Y has to be second then. And that is because the foci are going right, left. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this yellow. That was just to kind of help us out so I know where those curves were. But if this foci is right 4, this one has to be left 4. So I'll just put the foci there. I still don't know where the curves go, but we're going to try to find out. Now, something else I know is because this is the center, this is our X, this is our Y. So instead of that -2, I'm going to put +2. Instead of that -4, Y minus -4 is +4. So I'll write that in. And it tells us that A is 3. Remember, A in this case has to go in the bottom. So this is 3 squared. And that tells us how to get to the vertices. So from the center, I'm going to go right 3, 1, 2, 3, and left 3, 1, 2, 3. And that is from the center. Okay. Now, the one thing that I do not know, this has to be equal to 1. That has to be equal to 1. I still don't know what this is. But I do know what C is. So remember, this is C squared equals A squared plus B squared. I know my C squared is 3 squared. Oh, this is squared. I also know my C squared because I know it is 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the foci from the center. And that's what that C is. It's how far to the foci. So now I'm just going to solve for B, let me rewrite that. This is 16 equals 9. I'll subtract 9 from both sides, and I get 7. And so B has to be the square root of 7. All right, so I'm going to put this square root of 7 squared. So remember, it is squared. And if I simplify that, then I get x plus 2 squared over 3 squared is 9, y plus 4 squared over square root of 7 squared is 7 equals 1. So, you know, the big thing is we always know that we have an x squared and a y squared on top. We're just not sure if the x or the y goes first. So I need to know what my center is. Definitely need to know my center. I need to know my A, my B, and my C. One other thing I need to know, because my A is how I go right, left, or up, down, that first term there. This is the B, of course, here. And then the C tells us how to get to the foci. So in the end, I need to know all 3. Well, I guess not necessarily to write an equation. If I'm graphing, I need to know all 3. I for sure need to know my A and my B. And the other thing I need to know is which one goes first. So based on A, is X or Y first term? All right, we're going to try another one here. So they may give us some different information. I don't have to use a graph. I just use it to help us with coming up with the equation, just so we can kind of see what we're talking about. So here it says, write the equation of a hyperbola with vertices -2, -3. So left 2 down 1, 2, 3. And 6, -3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right, 1, 2, 3. So they gave us the vertices. So, you know, if I were going to sketch this, it would look like this, which tells me already, that gives me some pieces of information, and that is that X has to go first because we're going right, left. So I know X is first and Y is going to be second. Okay, that's equal to 1. Now I need to know what the center is. Well, the center has to be halfway in between. I mean, I can see what the center is, but if I can't, remember, it's just halfway in between there. So my center is -2 plus 6 over 2, -3 plus -3 over 2. Well, if I average this, 4 over 2 is 2. -6 over 2 is -3. So that is my center. It's 2 right, 2 down 3. Now, I wouldn't have had to have used the midpoint formula. I can pretty much look on my graph because I sketched my graph. I could have found this point anyway, but my center is 2, -3. So the 2 goes after the X, the -3 goes after the Y. Okay, so now I have to know my A and my B. That's kind of the main 2 things I need to know. Well, I already know my A because my A is how far from the center to each vertice, and that is 4. Okay, what I don't know is my B. And this doesn't really tell me what my B is, but that can help me with what my C is. So if I go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 3, 1, 2, 3, there is my C. And C is how far from the center to there. So it is, see, from the center to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that is 6. So from the center to the foci is 6. So that's C. C is how from the center to the foci. So now if I go C squared equals A squared plus B squared, because I need to know what this B squared is. C is 6. I know A is 4. And I need to know B squared. So this is 36 equals 16 plus B squared, which is 20 equals B squared, which means B is the square root of 20. I wouldn't really have to take the square root because I'm going to square it anyway. And so now if I clean this up, this is x minus 2 squared over 16, y plus 3 squared over 20 equals 1. So I want to know what my center is. So I definitely want to know my center because I need to fill in this and this. I need to know what my A is because I square it, my B, because I'm going to square that one. And I need to know if A, if A is going right, left, that means that the X goes first. We're going to do one more. Here it says, write the equation with a transverse axis length 10. Now the transverse axis, so I want to think, what is this? This is the length between the vertices. It's the entire length. So basically that means from the center to a vertice is equal to 5, actually. Okay, so the transverse axis is 10. The center is 2, -1. So I'll go ahead and draw that. 2, -1. Right, 2, down 1. The focus is 2, 5. So right 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a foci. So from the center, that's 1, if I look at how big this distance is, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I went the other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, which means our C is equal to 6. I'm going to write that down right now. I think I might erase some of this other stuff just so it doesn't get too crowded. Okay, but C is equal to 6. The other thing I know is the transverse axis, which connects the vertices. So, if these are the foci, that means that the curves have to look something like that, which means the transverse axis goes like that. So I'm just kind of sketching that. I'm going to get it out of the way here. But it's a length of 10. And if it's a length of 10, again, from the center, that means I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a vertice, and same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a vertice. So from the center to each vertice, it's 5. And notice that whole yellow, this here, that is the transverse axis. That's what was 10. All right, so let's see what we have as far as our equation. It goes up, down, up, down. We have to go up and down to get to our vertices. So that means that y is first. Y is first. So I'm going to go y minus and x minus, we know this is 1. What else do we know? We know C. We actually know A because A is how far from the center to the vertice. It is 5. So this is 5. We don't know what B is yet. We do know our center. Our center is 2, -1. But we have to make sure and pay attention that this 2 goes with x, so it's x minus 2. This -1 goes with the y. All right, and finally, I'm going to use this to figure out what b is. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. 6 squared equals 5 squared plus b squared. 36 minus 25. So 36 minus 25 is 11. So b is the square root of 11. Square root of 11. So if I clean this up, I get y plus 1 over 25 minus y minus 2 over 11 equals 1. All right, that is the story on writing equations for hyperbolas. And make sure to ask questions if you need more help.